The Nigerian government has issued guidelines ahead of the planned resumption of schools in the country. The document, which did not disclose the date of school resumption, was signed by the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, and Minister of State for Education, Honorable Chukwuemeka Nwajuba. The guidelines released on Monday, July 13, 2020, require that students should be aided to maintain social distancing and stay at least 2 meters apart. The document stated in details plans for schools reopening and operations, including attendance, social distancing, hygiene, cleaning, and non-pharmaceutical interventions for safe and healthy school activities and programs. Malam Adamu explained that the need to develop the guidelines became imperative following latest developments on COVID-19 in Nigeria. On social distancing in schools, the document reads, however, there are exceptions where the 2-meter rule cannot be reasonably applied and other risk mitigation strategies may be adopted. Examples include early years, younger primary school children, and those with additional needs. In these circumstances, risk assessments must be undertaken with the best interest of the learners, teachers, and other education personnel in mind. The scenarios require organizing learners and children into small groups with consistent membership and compliance with the risk mitigation strategies. The membership of these groups should not change unless the NCDC public health guidelines suggest otherwise. With the release of the guidelines, the government would conduct a rapid assessment and determine funding requirements for upgrading infrastructure and facilities such as classrooms, furniture, water, sanitation and hygiene wash, and ICT facilities to meet and sustain prescribed safe school reopening requirements. The document reads in part. The guidelines were developed in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Environment, Federal Ministry of Health and Safety experts in the country. They outline actions, measures, and requirements needed for the safe reopening of schools after the coronavirus pandemic. Notable among the items in the guidelines are recommendations for the review of existing policies, practices, and risk mitigation strategies in the use of schools for other purposes such as distance learning centers, temporary shelters, isolation, quarantine and treatment centers, markets and voting centers, among others. The document adds, COVID-19 pandemic poses an enormous risk to the health and safety of learners, teachers, parents, school administrators, education practitioners, and the wider community. More than 1.5 billion children and young people globally have been affected by school and university closures. As a responsible government, it is also our duty to provide comprehensive guidelines for a safe and hitch-free reopening of schools and learning facilities. We do so knowing that the health, safety, and security of learners, teachers, education personnel, and families are priorities. The Education Minister stated that the guidelines also highlight the urgent need to maintain and improve upon distance learning programs. Our aim is to identify and strengthen programs that will guarantee the recovery of learning gaps resulting from the pandemic. The guidelines were drafted in close coordination with health, environmental, education, and school safety experts who were tasked with the responsibility of charting a pathway for safety reopening of schools and learning facilities for quality teaching and learning, the minister said. With the release of the guidelines, hopes are high that schools across the country will soon get the green light to reopen after months of closure. From Lagos, this is Tina Timothy, News Express Nigeria Television.